Everybody can go and they can download the Mayfair Gold presentation. It's going to take longer to go through the whole story than I'm going to do right now, and I think we all want to hear what Ross has to say. So I'm going to tell you why you should do that. So we've got the Fengib Gold Project. I'm going to use forward-looking statements. Everybody knows that. We've got the Fengib Gold Project. This is a 4.3 million ounce indicated gold resource in the Timmins Gold area. Lots of people have resources. One of my big pet peeves with the mining sector is how we approach permitting and the way it's communicated to the market. So a lot of companies suffer from willful ignorance. They know what the permitting process is and they don't quite tell you what it is. Or they have wishful thinking. They don't know what it takes to get a project permitted. So we have done our homework. We know exactly how to get this project permitted. And we put out a pre-feasibility study to make sure that we could go through the provincial permitting process in Ontario. And so what that allows us to do is it allows us to get permitted, get into production in the next 4 years. We can be fully permitted in 2028. We can focus on the highest grade, highest margin ounces. We're building a smaller project that's more executable, that's more financeable. It's a much more doable project in this kind of gold price environment. Everybody has leverage to gold. The best real leverage is getting assets into production. So we've been very deliberate about how we've designed this project. We've got great access, we've got great infrastructure. That's part of the reason why we can do this. And we have a management team that has a track record. Everybody says that they've got the right team in place. So my background, I was with Artemis Gold before. Before I was with Artemis Gold, I was at Silvercrest Metals. I've been part of 2 companies that have taken development stage assets, brought them into production, and created multi-billion-dollar mining companies in the process. There is huge amounts of value associated with bringing development stage assets and turning them into producers. And the only reason you should believe that I can do this is because I've brought in Drew Anwell. Drew Anwell is my partner. He's the CEO of the company. He is uniquely qualified to help us navigate this. He recently was at Generation Mining. He successfully got an EA approved for Generation's Marathon PGM project. He's a serial mine builder. He built Detour Lake. He built the largest open pit gold mine in Canada, and he's going to build this asset for us. So we have a mining team, we have a development team, we have the execution, and we put our money where our mouth is. I've bought $2 million of stock in the last 18 months. Management and insiders have bought $15 million of stock in the last 18 months. We're 35% insider owned. I'm going to walk through this quickly. Great access and infrastructure, highway access, and we've got power within 10 kilometers. This is part of the reason why we're able to start small. So I am going to spend a little bit of time on this slide because this is really important. We could have put out a pre-feasibility study on a 25,000 ton per day throughput scenario. It would have had a way bigger NPV, probably something in the range of $3 to $4 billion. It would have captured 3 to 3.5 million ounces out of a 4.3 million ounce resource. But if we're doing that, we have to go through the federal permitting process. And the federal permitting process is 5 to 7 years to get your environmental assessment approved, plus another 2 years to get your mine permits. And then you've got to build a mine, and you've got to fund an excess of $1 billion CapEx. That is a tough slog for a $400 million market cap company. So what we've done is we've designed a study, we designed a mine, that's only 4,800 tons per day. That would be a really big underground mine. It is a very small open pit. But we can finance that with about $300 million in project debt, probably another $250 million in total equity to get us fully funded. And you can see even at $3,100 gold, it generates $150 million in free cash flow per year. This is what I'm focused on. All right, a lot of people focus on production. This is a low-cost producer. It's less than $1,200 an ounce. It's $900 million in free cash flow at a $3,100 gold price. If you get closer to spot, $1.4 billion. So what can we do with $1.4 billion? We can consolidate in the region. We can sweeten our grade profile. We can look at growth opportunities. The best way to create value is by bringing development stage assets and putting them into production. We can go through it. You guys can look through these numbers. You can contact us. We can go through the story with you. We have a realistic timetable in terms of getting this into production. And I want to highlight this. So this is, you can see the first 6 years of production, 1.47 grams going through the mill from an open pit. That's what drives the economics of this project. And this is my favorite slide. It shows you the free cash flow. So I'm not a technical guy, I'm a finance guy. And free cash flow is what you can use to buy back stock, you can pay a dividend, or you can grow the company. That free cash flow is what's going to create a much more significant gold company over the next 4 years. You guys can go through that yourself. So what I do want to highlight here, very tight plant site, access, the highway drives right through the site. I've never been on a project before. We drive off the highway onto the site. We've done feasibility study, met test work. We know how to recover the gold. And we're serious about building a mine. This is not the most exciting 3 streams that you're going to see for a mining company. Detailed engineering, permitting, community engagement, these are all critical steps in order to get a mine permitted and get ready for production. But that's not what's going to attract you guys. We need to come up with some reasons for you guys to be interested in the story. Tomorrow we're listing on the NYSE American, and we've got an amazing ticker, MINE, M-I-N-E. I don't know why nobody else took that ticker, but we're listing on the New York Stock Exchange tomorrow with the ticker MINE. We're going to see a lot more trading be driven into the US market because of that. After that, you're going to see some drill results within the high-grade corridor of this asset. We got a 0.74 gram per ton ore body, but we're focusing on a 1.5 gram per ton starter zone that's going to go through the mill. So you're going to see that that zone exists, and we're going to provide more information that's going to allow us to probably secure some project debt financing. But it's just as important for us to show that there's exploration leverage. There's plenty of exploration leverage around the project site. VRIC has a back-in right. If we go over 5 million ounces on the northern block, VRIC can buy back 51% of the asset. This isn't a VRIC asset. I don't think they want to do it. But I'm not going to risk losing control of the asset by exploring on the main ore body. But it is open to the northwest, and it's open to the southeast. What's more exciting is the southern block. So the northern block, that's the Pipestone Fault. That's an important fault for the Timmins Gold area. The southern block, that is the Porcupine-Destor Fault. That is the most important trend in the Timmins Gold Camp. You need to have the right rocks, and you need to be on that fault. And that whole area has largely been unexplored. So we're going to be testing that area. We're going to be showing that there's drill leverage in this story, and we're going to be attracting investor attention over the next few years. So I'm not going to go through the rest of these slides with you. We've got the management team. We've got the track record. We have the skills and we have the talent to create a new Canadian gold producer, and we're looking for investors who want to participate alongside us. I helped create a multi-billion-dollar company at Artemis Gold. I helped create a multi-billion-dollar company at Silvercrest Metals, and I'm going to create another multi-billion-dollar company at Mayfair Gold. So I think we ought to let us into Ross, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks, guys.